I get a lot of strange looks when I tell people I'm going squirrel hunting. Even my fellow hunters seem to be confused and bewildered by the whole concept. They look down their noses and call them tree rats. My buddy Mortsky over at Mortsky Repair, he told me I was taking redneck to a whole new level. But I'm not deterred. Squirrel hunting is a lot of fun. You don't need a boat or a high-powered rifle or thousands of acres of pristine wilderness. Squirrels are everywhere. Everywhere that there's trees. And here in the driftless region of northwest Illinois, we've got plenty of trees and plenty of squirrels. It's a long season. It runs from August to February. You don't need to buy any special equipment or really have any special skills. Just stumble around in the woods and look for a squirrel. At least that's what I do. Alright, two-wheel drive truck, super bald tires, about 3 inches of rain in the last 2 days. What could possibly go wrong? Told me some guys came out here coyote hunting one time and they got their truck stuck and they left it sit too long and the axle got frozen into the ground. When he tried to pull it out with the tractor, the truck moved and the axle did not. Yeah, this place is just crawling with squirrels. There's a nest there. There's a nest there. Lots of walnut and hickory trees. This looks pretty promising. I came and scoped it out about a week ago, and I saw some squirrels. I even got a shot at one, but it was pretty rough hunting. Well, today I learned that squirrels don't float. Dropped one right in the middle of that creek, and I can't walk through it. It's just bottomless mud. I tried, but yeah, we're not gonna recover that one. Fast forward a week and things are a lot different. We had a bunch of rain come through and a huge amount of wind, and it blew all the leaves out of the trees, which is fantastic. Now we can see what we're doing. Also, they picked the beans, so now instead of crunching and making a bunch of noise, we can frolic through here footloose and fancy free. That's what we're looking for. These are walnuts. They're everywhere here. Yeah, squirrels love walnuts. It's like the cocaine that fuels their high energy lives. This is pretty cool. That's obviously a spot where deer cross the creek. I don't know where they come up on the other side though. Success. All right. Nice little fox squirrel. Headshot, nice and clean. All right, we're just gonna chill out for a minute. I jumped a bedded deer out of here last week. It's just a thicket, you can't even walk through it. I missed him. That was pretty wild. I just caught that squirrel out of the corner of my eye. He was sitting still on a branch, and I lined up to take the shot, pulled the trigger, and it was a dud. I had to rack another round, and he still just sat there and looked at me. Yeah, that was fantastic. Close shot, maybe 10 yards. Yeah, I clean missed that second one. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, this place is shot up like the OK Corral, so I think we better move on. I missed that. I think I'm hunting some kind of unkillable vampire squirrel. I've taken 3 shots at him at close distance, and I don't think I've hit him once. Around here we call that bad shooting. There's a truck right there. So we'll work this last stand of trees and then we'll probably call it a day. Sun's going down fast. Nice red fox squirrel over there on the other side of the creek. He might as well be on the moon. We can't get over there and get him. Yeah, just show off, little buddy. I'd rate that hunt a success. The place is crawling with squirrels. Unfortunately, it's also crawling with people, which is a common problem here in Illinois. We went to hunt that last stand of trees, and the neighbor to the south showed up with his dogs to take them for a walk. And then I was going to hunt the next stand of trees to the north, and that neighbor showed up with his side-by-side to go for a drive. So yeah, we got busted out. But that's how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of huntable habitat in this part of Illinois. But the problem is access. I mean, people are pretty stingy with it. We have very little public land. Only about 3% of Illinois is publicly owned. So you're dealing with landowners, and it's one of the reasons I like squirrel hunting, other small game hunting. It's a lot easier to get permission. You know, if you want to hunt whitetails, forget it. I mean, you might as well be asking to date their daughter. It's just not going to happen. But squirrels, doves, you know, bunnies, people are a lot more receptive to that. Now, the other problem we had was the gun, or probably more likely the shooter. This is a Ruger 10/22. I bought this gun used about a month ago, and I haven't shot it a whole lot, but from the bit of shooting that I have done, it seems to be pretty accurate. Far more accurate than the guy pulling the trigger. Anyway, I want to take a few test shots here, just make sure we didn't do something wrong. The way I was always taught to hunt squirrels was headshots with a 22. And a lot of guys hunt squirrels with shotguns. I imagine they get a lot more squirrels than I do, but it really tears them up. Headshots are the way to go. The problem is that's a pretty small target, and a lot of times you end up throwing out a lot of lead with not very many results. So yeah, your kill zone's only about the diameter of a thimble. So we're gonna set this up, take a few shots, just make sure something didn't get bumped. Well, I'm no Annie Oakley. That's only a dead squirrel 3 out of 10 times. Huh. I'll make a few tweaks, try it again. That's not a dead squirrel at all. Yeah, I don't know. That's only a dead squirrel 50% of the time. Yep, we'll keep working on it. We're going to try a new spot. There's a stand of trees at the end of this cornfield. It's about 4 acres of timber. I have no idea if there's any squirrels in there, but there shouldn't be any people, so it should be nice and quiet. Yeah, we're gonna have to walk in though until the corn's picked. He told me I could probably drive in on this bean field, but I don't have permission from that landowner, so yeah, we're just gonna hoof it. Let's not get our hopes up. This isn't really a timber, it's just kind of an overgrown fence row. A lot of softwoods. These are hackberry trees here. Doesn't feel very squirrely. That's a squirrel nest in that mulberry tree back there. Well, we'll just see. Anybody thirsty? I could probably sell that for yard art. Looks like the scrap pile. I don't know. I mean, if I was a squirrel, this is probably where I'd be. But these aren't really hardwood trees, those are just soft maples. I mean, you can see a few spots where there's obviously been squirrels set up, but I don't know if they're permanent residents here. I guess we'll just kind of hang out and wait while the sun goes down and see what happens. I wasn't confident about a headshot from that distance, probably about 40 yards. But I'll take that. Nice little fox squirrel. Gotta be careful, there's a tractor right there. Yeah, he must be holed up. We could be here all night waiting for him to come out. I think we'll move back down the fence row. Let's kind of see what happens. We're gonna be out of light here pretty soon. he is. Tell you what, I was pretty down in the mouth about this place, but it's just crawling with squirrels. This is fantastic. It's just a bunch of birds messing around over here in these reeds. Alright, I think we're done. It's pretty quiet here. The sun's just about to go down. We're still legal to shoot, but I haven't seen anything. It's going to be too dark to film. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with our night though. Come out here for an hour, shoot 2 squirrels in a place you've never been before. Can't complain about that. Alright, we better wrap it up. It's Halloween. There's trick-or-treaters tonight. I don't want to miss that. Come on, pup. Let's go. This way. Hey, where are you going? This way. Come on, killer. It's like a raccoon, maybe. It's got Max all excited. You're the worst hunting dog ever. Go find a squirrel. I'm feeling kind of dumb. I totally discounted this place because I didn't see any hardwood trees. You know, there's no nuts. I thought there can't be any squirrels. There's nothing for them to eat. And then after we left, I sort of remembered. Yeah, how about 10,000 acres of this? Probably do it, huh? Anyway, we're gonna try again. It's morning, it's kind of windy, it's pretty warm. Not sure we're gonna have a whole lot of luck, but Max is very enthusiastic, so we're gonna give it a go. It's starting to rain, which we desperately need. The other problem, which you might file under the no duh category, is that I drastically underestimated how difficult it is to film yourself hunting. Like, I've made hundreds of videos and I've always filmed myself, you know, set the camera up on a tripod, set the focus, no big deal. But this is a totally different animal. You know, you're outside, it's windy, it's dark, you're crashing through the woods, you got this big honking awkward tripod. Plus the lens I'm using, or was using, I usually run the Panasonic G85 with the 12 to 35 lens, which is great, you know, inside, but doesn't have near enough reach for this. So I picked up a longer, more telephoto type lens. Hopefully we can get some better shots. But the problem is when you're filming something, you know, yourself, now you're trying to do 2 things at once, and it greatly compromises both things, especially when you're hunting. You know, time is sort of the essence. The critters aren't going to wait around for you to get them in frame. Anyway, we're trying. Yeah, I think this is a bust. Rain's coming in, plus we've got combines running over there. Well, I don't think I'd be out if I was a squirrel. It's kind of a bummer. I saw one on the way in here, scampering through somebody's yard. Thought we might have a chance, but there's an owl. That's probably why there's no squirrels in here. Anyway, I think we're gonna head back towards the car. Max doesn't mind the rain, but I'm gonna melt.
Hey, I like where your head's at, pup, but that's probably not the kind of rodent we're looking for. Come on, let's keep moving. It's okay. We'll get him next time. She's a tough old girl. Even got a busted tooth. Anyway, we need to skin and gut her. I'll show you the way I was taught by my grandfather. I don't know who originally thought this up. I'm assuming it's some kind of ancient tribal knowledge that's been passed down from generation to generation. Anyway, all you really need is a good sharp knife. Cleaver or a hatchet is also helpful. If you don't live in a cave like I do, you can use a pair of shears. That's probably the more efficient way to do it. Anyway, we're going to come right in here at the base of the tail, and we're going to make a cut. Now, my grandfather, the way he always did it, he insisted that you pull out the fur before you make the cut. The whole idea is to minimize the amount of hair that you get on the meat. Now, from my experience doing this, plucking out the fur might make you feel better, but it really doesn't decrease the amount of hair that you get on the meat. It's just essentially unavoidable. But in his honor, we're going to try it. I'm going to grab a towel and clean this knife off. It may be a good idea to wear some gloves while you do this, especially if you have any kind of open wound on your hands. Squirrels can carry a disease called tularemia. I've never seen it in a squirrel around here, but we do have it in bunnies. Anyway, right here, I'm going to make a cut right at the base of the tail. So right there, we're through the tailbone. Now we want to go through the flesh, right down to the skin. All right, that's pretty good. Now the mistake I always make is I try to cut up too far up the tail. You want to be right there behind the pelvis. Need a block of wood. And we're going to set our squirrel like so, and we're going to put our foot right here on the base of the tail. Don't want to put your foot out here. The squirrel's tail really isn't that strong. Now we just grab his feet and we pull. Come on, buddy. Oh, she's a tough old girl. There, now stop. Right when you get the skin to split around the belly. Now, wipe all the fur off your hands. Because again, the goal is to get as little on the meat as possible. Now, all the way out. There's an arm, and then this one's pretty busted up. The shell went through his head, through his shoulder. Okay, at this point, go ahead and chop them right at the joints, like so. Or if you want to be a caveman, hit them with the hatchet. Now the real fun. You gotta decide which way you want to go. Back to front or front to back with the guts. Doesn't really make any difference. Either way, they've all got to come out. So we're gonna go right through the pelvis, right there. And on the other side. tough old girl. Start right about there. Now, if you want to save the heart or the liver or the lungs for your your stew pot, you certainly can. So we're just going to look this over. Make sure we don't see any weird spots that might indicate tularemia. This guy looks pretty clean. All right, that goes in the pot. That does not. Now, let's go rinse off that hair that we definitely didn't get on it. And we're done. All right, we're gonna quarter this squirrel up. So I'm just gonna start right here at the last rib bone. And then just kind of trace around the ribs. So that would be like your flank. We're gonna find a vertebrae, cut through it. Okay, now we're gonna remove the back legs. So that's 2 legs, and then the back, or some people call it the saddle. Take as much of this rib meat as we can. There's a front leg. Now this one's a little bit shot up, so we're gonna have to be a little more careful. So, 2 front legs, and then this is kind of just your rib meat. Okay, we're gonna cook the saddles and the legs low and slow on a crock pot, maybe 3-4 hours. We'll add some liquid, cover that and let it do its thing. I am not going to cook the rib sections. You can, but there's not a whole lot of meat there, and these rib bones are really hard to deal with once you've got it cooked. I'm sure these make good stock, but I have an in-house rib section disposal unit. Come on, dog. Yeah, it's been about an hour, and I can't see where it's cooked at all. Yeah, that thing's stone cold. Okay, well, we need a plan B. Luckily, my lovely, beautiful, long-suffering wife, she's the kind of gal who just can't get rid of things. Did I do that? Anyway, we have at least 2 more crock pots. So we'll just transfer this guy right on over. Perfect. That'll do. Yeah, the most tedious part of this job is separating the meat from the bones. But it's a pretty important job, especially if you're trying to feed this to people who aren't used to eating wild game. Americans especially are not conditioned to having bones in their meat. I was in college the first time I encountered a person who was unaware that chicken had bones. Well, if you think you get a lot of weird looks telling people you're going to hunt squirrels, wait until you tell them you're going to eat them. In my mind, squirrel is pretty much the same as dark meat chicken. And I'm talking about a real chicken that comes from a farm, not from a bucket. So I have made this recipe with chicken before. I feel pretty confident it's going to work just dandy with a squirrel. To make our peppers, we're going to need peppers, obviously. I usually get 4 large bell peppers. These are on the smaller side, so I got 5. An onion, some garlic, a can of tomato sauce, a pack of this microwavable rice, and then the cheese of your choice. I'm using Parmesan and mozzarella. All right, you got a skillet kind of on medium heat. We'll add a little bit of oil. All right, we'll let that cook for just a few minutes. All right, now we're going to add our squirrel meat. It's already cooked, but we're going to give it a little sear on the outside. Just add a little bit extra flavor. Break up some of these bigger chunks. We're going to go ahead and add some salt. And pepper. That looks good. Okay, we're going to add the tomato sauce. And the rice. And we'll drop this down to a simmer. I'm going to add a handful of Parmesan cheese. And we'll let that simmer for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. You can add whatever you want to this concoction. I sometimes add, zucchini or summer squash or sweet corn or, whatever you have available. I think that's good. All right, we're going to divide this in half. Got half my peppers set up in a baking dish. And we're just going to load these guys up, stuffing them, if you will. That's about all we're going to get. All right. Now we top them generously with cheese. Here's the secret genius of this recipe. So normally stuffed pepper recipes require boiling the peppers and it takes forever. Instead of all that, we're going to cook them in the microwave. Make sure you have a lid for your container, by the way, if you want to stay married. 20 minutes in the microwave, we're ready to eat. Oh yeah.